Okay, I think I'm in. Just need to adjust the camera angle. Right, I think I am here. I'm so sorry for keeping you all waiting. Really dodgy start. I'm just going to turn the sound down on this as well because I don't need to hear myself. How is everyone? I am so sorry. I was trying to get a dual camera setup going on so I could see, you could see me and you could see what I was doing. I'm just going to move the laptop out of the way as well. But unfortunately the software failed, so yes, I've gone back to plan B, which is just working in the album. I'm just going to move it up a little bit so you don't get that little black, oh, down a little bit so you don't get, oh goodness me, what is going on? Right, apologies for the little black mark in the corner. I will sort it out for the next live. I tried to use a piece of software that allows you to stream 2 cameras at once, but yeah, it did not work, so I'm really sorry. Let's just see who we've got in here. So hi Georgia, hi Natalie, hi Eileen, hi Linda, hi Joy, is that how I pronounce it? Probably just murdered your name. Hi Carrie, hi Mrs Lawson. Thanks all very much for joining me on this, my first ever live, YouTube live, which is scary as Joey, that makes more sense. That's scary. Hi Carl or Jenny, whoever's watching. So I thought I would do this live rather than film the videos for me to edit for you to watch back. I thought I would just show my process live in terms of how quickly the pages can come together, especially with the foundation pages already prepped. Now, since I did a flip through of this, I haven't actually added anything else to the album. It is what you've seen last. If you've been following along, you have seen where I am up to currently. So we're going to start on day 1. So day 1 for me, and you're probably sick to death of hearing me say it, was my wedding anniversary. So what we did on day 1, we went shopping, we went for some food. That was about it really. So I knew that for day 1 I wanted a photograph. I already put a 6x8 page protector in, so I knew I wanted a photograph of me and my husband for this day on the larger format. So we messed around with the, hi Emma, hi Madeline, hi Amy. So we messed around. You've been loving the videos, thanks very much Kerry. Yeah, messed around with the camera and we got the blurry tree in the background with us holding hands. So I knew that I wanted a 6x8, so I've already printed this on my new printer on a, you've got to be careful with these sleeves actually. These are the Ali Edwards ones and they are slightly bigger than 6x8, so it was 6¼ by 8¼ and it took a little bit of trimming, but that is going to go into my day 1. And then also I had this little piece of ephemera, but I don't know whether I want it on there or not. I think I want to add something else. I put a digital stamp over the top of this, just some words just saying 11 years strong. So I don't know whether I'm going to ruin the photo by putting that on or whether it's going to add to it. It sort of adds to the theme of the album. So I don't know, what do you guys think? What printer did you... I got a... what printer was it? A HP Envy. I did have a HP Envy before, but the tray stopped feeding paper through, so it wouldn't actually let me print anything. So I got the 7134, which is a dedicated photo printer. I was toying whether to get a laser printer, as I've now got a Mink, but the laser printers are so expensive. So we're back with an inkjet, and I did the HP Instant Ink. If you don't know about that, it's brilliant. You just pay a set fee every month and then they just keep sending you the cartridges. You pay for I think 50 pages is $1.99, 100 pages is £3.99 or something like that, and then 300 pages is £7.99. So you just set on how many pages you want to print, and it's brilliant. And if you don't want to do that, you can actually print 15 pages a month for free. So I've stuck with HP and I stuck with an inkjet for that reason. That was a really long explanation. I'm really sorry about that. You love it as it is, so let's get a bit of a count up. No ephemera, and you've got no... Oh, hi Laura. Love it as it is, nice on its own, leave it without. You like the ephemera, great photo. I think it's a great photo. It's probably the most artistic one that I've taken. Hi Sam, hi Jenny. Okay, what was the consensus on that? Love it as it is, nice on its own, leave it without. Okay, so I'm going to go without. I'm not going to do anything else to this then. I'm literally just going to pop that into the pocket. So I've saved you the painstaking, watching the painstaking process of me cutting this down. I've already pre-done that. So that is going to go straight into my pocket. And I printed these yesterday, so they were nice and dry by the time I put them in. A little tip, if you are using an inkjet, make sure the ink is fully dry, because I've done it before where I think it's dry, I've put it in and then the plastic sleeve sticks to it and it can sometimes pull the ink off. So make sure it's nice and dry, and use proper branded photo paper. So this is HP photo paper. It is a bit more expensive than other brands, but or you know, than the cheaper stuff as well. However, the quality you get on it is massively different. So, or massively improved, should I say. HP, Laura, it was HP photo paper. I did a print on a cheap photo paper, and you can see the difference. I held them up to my husband and said, which one do you think looks better, and he pointed this one out without knowing which one it was. So yeah, so I got that one. You've got a new HP inkjet and you're having issues with the ink not drying. This is what I mean. So if you're not using HP paper, Amy, then that might be your problem. Yours always comes out streaky. Have you tried to clean the print heads, Laura? That might be the problem. Okay, so on to day 2. So day 2, actually I might do some journaling for day 1. Let's go back to day 1. I'm not too sure how long this video is actually going to be, so I'm going to apologise in advance if we stem on, but if it's, because it's my first live, I expect a lot of chatting to be going on, and if you've got any questions for me, do ask away in the comments there. That is what this live stream is for, and I'm going to try and sort it out so next time you can see my face as well, rather than just my hands, because I do actually exist. I do have a head and a body, not just my arms. So on this, this is where I'm going to decide how I'm going to include my journaling, because I've got this first pocket here, which is a 3x8 sleeve, and it's got my number 1 in. Now someone's asked already in a video how I've adhered this down. It has just got some double-sided tape down it, and I've stuck it on that way. If you look closely you can see it, but I'm not going to look closely, and I'm just going to forget that it's there. So I don't think I want anything to sort of interrupt this, to be honest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some hidden journaling in, and these pockets are great because you can slot your journaling in down there. Now if you've watched me make this album, then you would have seen this tag album constructed. However, I'm going to deconstruct it because I want that tag. So, oh no, I can't get it done back up. There we go. So I am going to use this tag for my journaling. Now, I'm a bit fussy with my journaling, to be honest with you. I know everyone says, oh, your handwriting's lovely, but I actually prefer printed journaling. Because this is going in the pocket, what I'm probably going to do is not worry too much about the journaling on it. And I'm going to save you the painstaking task of watching me write it. What I am going to do is I'm just going to pop it in there for now. And this I'm just going to have poking out of the top. And I'll pop some twine in it as well, or some ribbon. Let's see what ribbon I've got. Oh, I've got this lovely blue Let It Snow. What have I done with my scissors? I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So I've got this lovely blue ribbon, and if you saw my kit video, then I'd actually put some ribbon in my stash as well to try and get some bits of it used up. I'm not going to use, I think it was 4 rolls I put in there, but at least if it's in with my kit stuff, then it may actually get used up. The paper's about $18, but I guess I'll have to suck it up and buy the HP paper. Yeah, honestly, it makes such a difference. I totally found that with the HP paper, you get such better quality photos with it. And yeah, mine was, it was £10 for a pack of 25 sheets, which is ridiculous for paper, really, when you think about it. But the quality of the photos you get out of it in the end is really, really good. So because my photograph has got quite a lot of blue in, I'm going to go with this blue ribbon, and I'm going to, I can never figure out which way to cut these things. I'm just going to trim them at an angle at the top, and that's going to enable me to be able to pull out my journaling. I'm probably going to add a little bit of wet glue as well when I do that, just to make sure that gets stuck down firmly. So I'm going to have that in the pocket. I'm going to have it slightly sticking out, so when it comes to flicking through, I can see there that there's something that I can pull out, and it'll have my journaling on. So we are going to move on to day 2. As I said, I'm not going to bore you with my journaling. So day 2 for us was decorating the tree. Now, we've been pretty greedy. We have got 3 Christmas trees this year, and there is a reason for it. Normally we have 2. We normally have a 6.5-foot one in the living room, and we normally have a little 3-foot one by the front door when you walk in. But since we've moved in, to get to our living room, you have to go through the dining room and then the kitchen. Well, the hallway, the dining room, then the kitchen. So I wanted something where you walked into the dining room and there was a Christmas tree. So we bought this Christmas tree off of one of these buy and sell sites on Facebook, and this guy locally was selling it for like 20 quid. And I said, what's wrong with it? And he said, nothing, it's just too big for me. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, it's a 6.5 foot, it's no bigger than the one that we've got at the moment, so that'll be fine as just an extra tree. However, we set it up, and this thing comes out about 1 metre from the wall, maybe 1.5 metres. It is huge. So it's taken up half our dining room, basically. It fits in there fine, and it looks really pretty. So I've taken a photograph of this one. I may well document our other tree later in the month, but I do have a pretty packed December list of activities that I want to get done. So day 2 was putting the tree up. Oh, I've missed a whole load of messages, so let me just go back. Problems with the black drying in my HP printer, even with a good quality paper. Use Tesco compatible inks and never had a problem again. See, I use the I have the HP Instant Ink because for what you get, it's unbelievable value. So I used to pay £1.99 just to get 50 prints a month. £2 a month is nothing really when you can stick it up on the higher quality as you want, and it's the same whether you print colour or black and white, and then the replacement one just comes to your door. So I am an advocate for the HP stuff. You hate to waste this paper. Yeah, it's if you've got any other projects though that you might be able to get away, like a mini album. If you want to make a mini album and you're not too fussed about the quality of the photos, then perhaps print it on that. Use a heat gun, just don't burn it. Use a heat gun just to dry it a little bit and see if that helps at all. You're braving with your handwriting as well. Yeah, my handwriting's okay, but I just prefer the look of printed. And not copy a paper. Quite like my writing, it's more of a December journal than with photos, but I would like to do one based on photos. Do you follow prompts or just go with the flow? I just go with the flow. So I've got a calendar printed, and in my calendar I've got specific things that I know are happening on days. Then I don't know if you saw, I did a video on what else you can include in your December daily, and there's a blog post as well, and it is things like go out for a winter walk. So if you don't have anything on that day, like me, I work every day, well I work 5 days a week, then go out on a winter walk, go and take some photographs outside. It doesn't have to be that you've done something amazing and spectacular. You'll see my photograph from yesterday and what it is and the reason it is. That you can chop and change it as well. So even though I've got this list of stuff that I want to do, and it could be, I don't know, decorating a gingerbread house, it could be reading a Christmas book, it literally could be anything. It's just something Christmassy that I've done on that day. But don't be scared to swap and change it, because I'm very sure that during this album stuff is going to have to be swapped and changed. So where I've put certain things already, I'm going to have to move them out. The collage prints, yeah, indeed. So I've got a sleeve in here for Christmas Day collage. So I've sort of gauged one 6x8 photo just for a large one, and then on the back to do a collage of photos. Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to run out of room by the end, the end of this album. It's already looking pretty chunky at the moment, so I'm not too sure how I'm going to fare with this. But anyway, back to day 2. So my Christmas tree in my dining room. So here I've already planned for this to go on this side. Now I couldn't quite crop the random bits in the photo, so I didn't want the photo frame, and there's a sort of a pop art canvas thing here where we've taken it off the wall to put the card holder up, and you can just see it on the edge here and it's bothering me. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with this photo. So I don't want to over embellish, but we are going to add some bits onto this to certainly cover up that bit. And now I've got some shadows going on here, so I'm going to see how we get on with this. I'm just going to pull out the tray of goodness. So let's see what we've got. So I already know that there's some Christmas tree ephemera in here. That's not going to be big enough. We could go with a little tag. Hello Snow. That's probably not the best one to be using. And this is where I make a mess and get all of my ephemera out, and it's just going to go everywhere. Wonderful winter. Ooh, I quite like that. Anybody notice how cold it's got today? Absolutely freezing today. So we could go with that, but I don't want it touching too much onto the tree. So we could go with that, but then I'm going to want some more black down here. Now I see this, because we've got the black up here, this little tiny bit of black down here is not actually bothering me. I'm just going to have a look through the chipboard pieces. These are huge. I'm not digging that one. Nope, don't want that one either. Now, because I've already gone through, I mean, I've got a load left, don't get me wrong, but I've already gone through a lot of my stuff. It is now slim pickings for what I have left, and I'm not too sure whether there's anything else that I particularly want to include on this one. I'm just going to have a look at the chipboard pieces. Actually, Laura's in here from Turtle Crafts. This came in the newest Kit Club kit from Turtle Crafts, so I'm going to have a look through these. Yeah, thanks Georgia. You use the Project Life app to collage. Yeah, I use it as well. Washi tape edge, maybe. So, -4. Okay, I can't moan too much. I think it was like 3 degrees when I left for work this morning. Close-up photo of the frost of your car. See, that's another perfect picture. You haven't got to worry about the you know, having a story for the day. The story could be how freezing it was. Christmas time. So I'm just having a look at these little pieces here. Now the red works really well because we've got the red in the tree, but then we've got the black. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to need to add in a spot of red up here to balance it out. Oh, is that going to cover that? No, it's not quite big enough. Right, I'm going to commit to sticking this down, otherwise I'm going to be here for about 5 hours tonight, which you guys don't, I'm sure you've all got better things to be doing than to sit and watch me scrap for the next 5 hours this evening. Oh, sorry, I was just trying to find my double-sided tape. Grown legs. So I'm going to admit something now before Georgia busts my cover. So when I was filming the video of my kit and I was showing the my kit in the Raskog cart, something happened. I was like, oh, I must be careful to you know, not knock the tray over. And then Georgia, whose Ramblings of Geo, was very beady-eyed and noticed that the video cut and then came back in again, and that is because I dropped the tray on the floor. So yeah, that was my bad, and she called me out on it. I thought I'd styled it out enough and no one noticed, but if she did, then perhaps someone else might have done as well. So I'm just going to say, hands up, yes, I did knock the tray on the floor and the stuff went everywhere, and I was not happy. I was not happy that day, because it took me about 10 minutes to pick everything up and decide and put it all back in where it needed to go as well. So yeah, I was in a bit of a mood after that happened, but what can you do? I'm really struggling with this. I don't actually know what I want to add on. I've got a 25. Oh, I've got a little candy cane. That's cute. I might go with that, and maybe a little tiny word sticker. I'm going to save these. I don't know whether these will actually fit in the little 2x2 pockets, but I'm going to save it and see if it will. So I'm going to commit to this. Now, always make sure that if you are adhering chipboard, apologies if I am in frame. I just need to get the wet glue. If you're putting, if you're sticking chipboard down, then just make sure you add some wet glue onto the back, because these babies do not like to stick very well. So I'm going to pop that there, and I'm going to add this little, what do you call it? I don't even know what you'd call it. It looks like one of those mints. Oops, in the middle. No, I want it there. Okay. And then I'm just going to grab out my stash of tiny word stickers. So I have these, and I have these ones that I'm trying to get used up, and I have, oh, I've got some more, I just can't find them at the moment. Okay, we'll just use these. Craft a lunch, yeah, craft a lunch happens quite a lot to me. Unfortunately, I have like a big pile beside my desk, and then all of a sudden it just goes. We've got this little red one here that says Twinkle. So I think I might add that on just for another splash of red. And oh, I think I'm actually going to call that page done. Because what I don't want to do is just go over the top with everything. I do want to have an even balance of items and not detract from the actual photo. So I don't want every photo, I mean, I'd leave every 6x8 photo as it is, because I think they look awesome, but equally I don't want to be boring either. So I am going to call that one done. And then what I'm actually going to do is, because I don't want, sometimes you get a little bit of white either side where you've got two photos together. I also want to create a pocket to stop this tag sort of slipping down and around. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to adhere these two photos back to back, but making sure that I have enough room in there for my tag. So wherever I put the tape, I do want to make sure that there's plenty of room. and then however high up I want my tag to come is where I'm going to put my tape. So here, because I don't want the tag to come down any further than that, because otherwise it will sink down in between the two photos, and then it will get forgotten, which I don't want to happen. Peppermint sweet, yes. Wet glue? Is there dry glue? Oh, we need moderators to boot out anyone that's that thinks they're funny. Exactly, Emma. So you tell her. Yeah, I don't need your negativity around here, Georgia. Right, so I'm going to stick these two together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a look at the seams. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a white seam down this side, and that is going to bug me. So I'm just going to trim this off with my scissors. I'm being lazy. I should get my trimmer out really, but hey, this is quicker. Oh. Right, there we are. So we're going to have a count up. Who is up to date on their December daily? Hi Becky. Who is up to date? I'd love to know if you are full steam ahead with yours this year. I'm not, and that's purely because I wanted to do the videos in batches. I was going to pre-film, as I said, film and then just pop it up, but I thought it might be a better idea, and it might be my Christmas gift to you. You're up to date because you're not doing it. Oh, Natalie, you're such a spoil sport. You do yours in January. Yeah, some people have commented to say they do it in January, and that's perfectly fine. If you want to enjoy the month of December without the stress. Having said that, the whole series has really been geared towards there being no stress. So the whole point is this album is 95% done. All I've got to do is add the photos and some journaling, pretty much. You're buying a Christmas stash for Christmas. That makes sense. We've done a little prep in 2 pages so far. Well, at least that's something. Nearly up to date. Started today's, but I haven't finished it. So, well, I'm hoping that these videos will drag you along and give you the inspiration to get them finished. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. Maybe not. Okay, so on to day 2. So I've got my number in there. These are, I've had so many comments about these cups. These cup files are from Pretty My Page. They're a UK store. You can buy the digital download and the pre-cut ones as well. I absolutely love these, and I've used these throughout my album, and I've just literally just popped them over the rings, and that will serve as my number for the day. So because I've already prepped these pages, I have a little Christmas tree card that I made and another little filler card. So I've got a little note in here saying decorating the tree. So I'm going to pull that out first of all. So that's just to remind me what that space is for. Now, I left a space down here which would have been fine for me to journal, but because I've only got a small amount of journaling that I want to tell, I'm going to pop it in here, and I'm going to get rid of this little note. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to get some white cardstock, and I'm going to cut myself a little 3x4 inch piece of card. And then this is where my journaling is going to go. Now, this is going to be typed, unfortunately. So, I can either go and grab my typewriter if no one minds the noise of typewriters, or if you prefer not to hear me bashing on the keys for the next 3 minutes, then say now. Say now or hold your peace. Because I do want to add an embellishment onto this once I've done the journaling, that's all. Oh, thanks, Nancy. You're doing the collect photos and binge craft at the end of December way. I'm doing the try and keep up as much as possible, and then because I'm going to be in a food coma by the end of December. Yeah, you hear a puppy dog. You do. Santa's reindeer. Yeah, that's my dog Bella. Yeah. Well, they have. I've got 2 dogs, and one of them is one of them's called Bella, so we call her Jingle Bells. Hi from Northern Ireland. One of them, yeah, we call her Jingle Bells. That's her collar rattling that you can hear. And the other one is Treacle. She's the small little grumpy one, and we call her the Grinch. Yeah, so they have their own little names and their own little personalities. Bella, can you go and lie down, please? Can you go and lie down, please? Yeah, she's the yellow lab. She's just stood there wagging her tail at me. So, no, I don't want you. Go and lie down. Right, I'm just going to get rid of said dog, because otherwise that's all you're going to hear. Go on, out you go. Out you go. Out you go. Go on. Okay, Bella, go on, off you go. Right, I'm back, and I don't see any objections to a typewriter. She wants to craft, yes, she does. I think the issue is because with us moving house, I wanted a craft room that was downstairs, because I always used one of the bedrooms to craft in, and I just felt so remote and lonely that I decided to, yeah, when we moved, that I wanted a room downstairs. So where I am at the moment, and I will be doing a craft room tour in the new year. But where we are where I am now, my yeah, that's a crafter lounge. My room, my craft room. I'll get the words out in a minute. My craft room comes off of the living room, and it's sort of an archway and you just walk through. So yeah, there's no quietness, there's nothing. And it also means that the dogs can come in and annoy me as they please, unfortunately. Yes, it's quite frustrating. So what I'm going to do, Bella, go on, out you go. Out you go. Go on, off you go. Go and lie down. Right, I think I've got rid of the dog now. What I'm going to do is I am going to do my journaling, but if you haven't seen the We Are Memory Keepers typewriter, then welcome to this beast. And what I'm going to do is, because I want to put this little one in there, if I was to feed that in, it would be really, really difficult to type on this small one, because what would happen is I'd get to the end of the row, or I'd get to maybe 3/4 of the way down, and it wouldn't, it would just sort of unravel from the typewriter. So a little tip is, if you have a typewriter and you want to do it on something like this, I know that you can sort of line it up and say, right, this is 3 inches, and I'll guess where 4 inches comes to. Then if you just stick it onto, a bigger sheet of paper, so this takes 12 by 12 inch paper. If you stick it onto a bigger sheet of paper and then feed it through, if it wants to go through, come on. Don't have time for your silly games today. I've already had problems with the, come on. Oh man, it's not working. is my thing not working? Oh, there we go, I have to manhandle it. So I've just basically stuck my my little journaling card onto a onto another piece of paper, and then I'm going to use, I can now have that stuck on there, so if I want to move it down, I'm going to be able to type all the way down to the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this lined up to where I want to start typing. So day 2 was all about the decorations, so that is going to be my title. Now, I'm not a one-finger typer. I bought it from, my husband actually got it for me from TK Maxx, but I don't know if they still have them. Yeah, and he did get it online. So, oh, come on. All about the decorations. I might actually take it up another line. So what was I saying? Yeah, I'm not a one-finger typer, but with this typewriter you do have to type with one finger, otherwise it gets messy and it gets wrong and you can't do anything to fix it. So, all about the decorations. We normally embark on the it's exactly what I mean. Tradition of putting our decorations. Oh, see, you've got to be careful because it keeps on my one for some reason. Every time you try and do a T, it does a G. Up on December 1st, but this year we decided to take the day for ourselves and put the decks up on the 2nd. James was like a big kid and just, ooh, which one's the, yes, couldn't wait. He takes, ooh, nearly, great pride in decorating. Oh, did it again. His trees. See, it says grease. This year was no. Oh no, my end's not going to end there. There's no exception. Oh, it is what it is. Okay. Right, I think that's going to be enough because I want a little bit of a space at the bottom. Pull that out and I'm going to gently pull that off the back. Oh, now I'm trying to tear the paper. The best idea if you're going to do this is to use the temporary adhesive, the removable stuff. But I don't have any, so I've had to go with the permanent stuff. I need the bar over your... Yeah, I know. I realised that halfway up, but I just gave up. So, if you're going to use a typewriter, then do expect to have sort of the faded print, the sort of the unfinished look, I think if you call it that. I've got sort of ink marks around the edges of my paper. I've got sort of wrong letters. I could retype it, but I'm not that bothered. So I'm going to use this, and then I'm just going to add on a small embellishment, and I want something that will maybe, I don't know, go across here. I'm just going to have a look at what I've got in my ephemera. I did pull some of this ephemera out, didn't I? So I've got actually I've got those the little tree bits. I'm going to add. Let's just get the ephemera out. And how do you get my attention? What, because of the bar across? Yeah, it's all right. I saved it. It's fine. But this just shows you how I craft, how I scrap. And oh no, it's too big. Not everything is perfect. No. So all those little Christmas trees are too big. So I have some Snow and Cocoa stickers. I don't have... Oh, I might use a little house actually, because obviously these are photographs from home. And that house is too big. There we go. But I want a little line across this, because if it's my title, all about the decorations. I'm just wondering if I want anything else on here. No, I don't think I do. So I'm calling that journaling done. The fact that I've got journaling in here is an absolute miracle. So what I'm going to do is, it's got some tape already stuck to the back of it because I use that for the stick it down to that bit of paper to pop it through the typewriter. And then I'm going to trim this down actually, because I don't like the red showing either. You should know never to interrupt someone when they're typewriting. Is that the rustic? That's a great word. Yeah, it does. So if you want a typewritten, a typed journaling, then you could just write it on your. I don't know why this is too big to go in that pocket. You could write it on the on your computer and just print it out, and then add it on that way. So if you're not too keen on the rustic look, as Bev said, then yeah, you could go down that route. But to me, it's my typewriter, and that's how it looks. It's got character. So we have day number 2. We have some journaling in there for day number 2. So on to day number 3. So saying about stories to tell, and I've got a list of all these things that I want to do. Well, look what yesterday ended up being. Yesterday ended up being a day in the evening where I wanted to go out and go and find some Christmas lights in the neighbourhood. But I got home from work and hubby was already in his pyjamas, and he said, oh, it's cold and wet and there's not really many lights out. So we did end up just staying in for the evening. However, if you heard that was my husband tripping over my crafter lunch. We stayed in for the evening, so I've got a photograph here, but there is a story to tell. So we have this battle every single year about mince pies. I like short crust pastry mince pies. He likes the puff pastry mince pies. So we always have this argument over which mince pie is better. Of course, it's the short crust pastry mince pie. So on day number 3, I already left myself a 4x6 inch size. Now, some people have left comments saying, but how do you know what you're going to do and what photos you're going to put in? I don't. But what I did yesterday is I had a quick peek at my album to see what size photograph I needed. Saw that I needed a 4x6 landscape. And then that goes in to the pocket. And because I've already made the journaling cards, I've already got one here ready to tell my story. I might just do it. I might just get the journaling done. It's out of the way then. But I don't want my handwriting. Shall I put my handwriting in? Anyone? Let's see what journaling pens I've got. 0.1, which is too small. I don't have anything bigger than a 0.1. Exactly, it has to be short crust pastry. See, I told you, James.
No.
I told you you're wrong.
You lie. It's puff pastry.
It's not puff pastry, it's short crust pastry. That's the traditional mince pie. So
yeah, puff pastry's nicer.
See, we've got a debate going on here now. You've never had a mince pie?
Yeah.
Really?
Stick around, chat with.
Oh my goodness me. The paper pixie, you detest mince pies. What is wrong with you all? Handwrite. So let's think about what I'm going to write here. Oh, I know what I could do. So I've got some little alphas. These dearly little ones that I've put in my kit. So green, white's not going to work. Those are going to be too big. And then we have some red ones, some green ones. I might just have to use these small ones because I'm not too sure I'm going to fit anything else onto this bit of paper. So I'm going to call this Puff. Does anybody else have these random arguments with their other halves about what is better? We have a similar argument about who of us is Iron Man. Clearly, I am clearly, but we have an argument over because I call him Captain America. He hates it. Anybody else have these really random arguments? Short crust all the way, exactly, Susan. Exactly. Right, this is going to be called Puff versus Short Crust if I have enough of these alphas to last me. I'm hoping I do. Puff versus... Oops. Short. Oh, these are super annoying because they're so small. These are the mini alphas. But they're great for little titles like this. So if you've got a 3x4 card and you don't want to use thickers, then these little mini alphas work a treat. Puff versus Short Crust, which is clearly the winner in my poll tonight. I think the most hi Joanne. Panagopoulos, did I pronounce that correctly? Oh, I need a U. All the way from, what is a mince pie? Really? Oh my goodness me. Please don't tell me I have to educate anyone on what a mince pie is. Awesome, I got it right first time. Puff versus short crust. I'm going to start my journaling, so I'm going to go quiet for a second. Is it a UK thing? I don't think so. Captain America, Carrie, come on. No. Iron Man is better than Captain America. I am Iron Man. Right, so. Oh, I hate this pen. It's too thin. I have to go with this. It's going to be a bit thicker, but. Okay. Journaling done. I would eat mince pies all year round. Batman or Superman? Ooh, probably Batman. But then we're more of a Marvel in this house rather than DC. You have them in New Zealand as well? Exactly, yeah. So, the battle is on. Who will win in the mince pie war? James loves his puff pastry ones and I love my short crust ones. We've now resorted to buying a pack of each to stop the argument. So please don't judge us on that. It's the only way that we can get through Christmas in this household, is to meet in the middle and actually have our own anyway. So, my journaling is in for day 3. Now, we're moving on to day 4, which is today, actually. So, day 4. Day 4 for me didn't necessarily involve an activity that I did. Day 4 for me was about giving. So, the year before last, I didn't do it last year, but the year before last, I organised a group of work colleagues and we made care packages for some homeless people, and we just used our own money, bought a load of different random things, toiletries, socks, gloves, toothbrushes, that sort of thing, and donated them to a homeless charity. So I wanted to make today about giving. And I'd seen a few things online where you could donate money to charities and stuff like that, which is all well and good, but I wanted to know where my money was going and what it was doing. And I was having this conversation with a friend at work, and she mentioned that there's a local hospital to work, and they were asking for donations for basically things from Amazon. They wanted to put things away to give kids for Christmas when they were in hospital, or for their birthdays, or to have things in the hospital in order for the kids to use. And they set up this Amazon wish list, and they are basically just asking for anybody that wants to donate to pop on, and just, there's loads of things. And to be fair, there's things starting from like £1. So if people don't have much money, then it's a great way to be able to give to charity, but only a small amount. So I set myself a budget, not much, I set myself a budget of £10, and I picked a couple of things out of the wish list, and they get sent directly to the hospital for the kids. So I have a little bit of an issue. That's my backstory for the day. I have a little bit of an issue because obviously my 4x4, my 2x2 pocket for day 4 is already in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this loose in here. I'm going to back it with a journaling card to give myself some space to be able to journal, and then I want to put the word giving. Oh my god, that just works out perfectly. So I'm going to spell out the word giving in these spots that I've got spare. So I didn't initially know what I wanted to do in here, but that just seems to have worked out perfectly. So let me just find some thickers that I want to work with. I think I've got some alphabet stickers. I don't know whether I want to go with... I've got some silver ones, or whether I want to go with some flat ones. Oh, there's too many choices. That's the problem. Sequin pockets. Yeah, I've got another one coming up with some sequins in, and I've just bought some more sequins actually from. I got these from the Works. There was like £1, and they're like iridescent snowflake confetti. Yeah, it's lovely. Angel tree. Yeah, it's very, very similar to that, but it's just the modern day one that is an Amazon wish list. So I'm going to let me find a journaling card first of all. So you could either back your paper if you're doing something similar. If you want to add a photo in, you could just leave it in there like that with nothing on the back, but I need to leave myself enough room to add some journaling on. So you could just use some plain white cardstock. That does help to stiffen the photograph up as well. Or if you wanted something a bit more decorated, then use a journaling card. I have this one here that says "Oh, what fun!" Rocking around the Christmas tree. These are a few of my favourite things. We could go with that. So I'm just having a look through this pack here. Making a list. Oh, there's too many choices. There's the stickers. Okay, so these are the options I've got basically. I've got this "Oh, what fun!" which I think I'm going to rule out because it's landscape and I want a portrait one. Or I have the one that says "Making a List," or the one that says "These are a few of my favourite things." So what do you think I should do? Yeah, food bank donations, yeah. Yeah, so I like to do something as much as I can do every year. You know, I don't have endless supply of funds either. So, but if I donated £10, then I feel like and it's not just me giving the money. I don't like doing that. I like to actually physically give something. They're never going to know who I am, but I know that that's going to go into a good cause. Making a list. Yeah, I quite like that one. Making an Amazon wish list. Oh, yeah, making a list is definitely the favourite. So I'm going to adhere this down, and then I'm going to have a look at the alphas to see what I've got. And this should fit because this is a 4x6, so this should just go straight on. Whoa. And I've put thickers in my kit, but I don't know whether they're going to get used because it's just going to bulk the album out far too much. So I might just find some flat ones. I don't know. There's too many decisions to make. Right, get rid of the rubbish. And then I have a where is she? Bella, go and lie down, please, dog. I have a 6-hole punch that I'm going to line up, and I'm just going to decide where I want this, because this is going to end up, I'm going to end up with 2 half holes. So I'm either going to have it slightly further up or slightly further down. So I'll probably pop it in there. So I'm going to go up here, so it's not punching into the bottom. And then we'll punch that down. And then that can go into the album. And I think I want to add on, because this is just a bit of wasted area, so I still want to embellish the photo, and I quite like this little what do you call it, nutcracker man, is that what you call it, nutcracker? Oh, what I could actually do is, I'm just thinking I could have tabs, so I could have a tab on the side of this. Whoa, this is where everything comes out. What we left for Santa, not using that one. All the stockings. Quite like this green and matching it with this green maybe. But to have a little tab where I can sort of flip it over, use something rather than sort of grabbing the photograph every time. So I might do that. Oops. No, I'm just going to go with it. And then I would say that pretty much once this is all done, we are up to date. Yeah, jingle bells indeed. Indeed, she does not leave me alone, that dog. Oops. Right, so let's go here. I'll pop a little bit of double-sided tape on the other side as well. Oops. There we are. Okay, so we have our little tab. And then I'm going to find a little tiny word sticker as well. Ooh. And the black ones. Do not open. Maybe pop that one on there. And I'm just deciding whether I want to add my little man as well. I think I might add my little man as well. Your screen's frozen. Have I frozen? Let me have a little look. Is that any better? Have I got you back? Are you back? I'm back. Okay. I think it's because my phone's dying. I'm using my phone to record today. It made the most sense. Yeah, it's because it came up saying that the battery was low. I didn't realise. Okay, but we're nearly there anyway, so I'm just going to stick this down. And then I'm not going to bore you with the journaling on the back. But perhaps if I do another live, then I can come back and show you the journaling that I wrote. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add in the letters to say giving. But I'm undecided whether I want to use flat alphas or whether I go with G-I-V-I. Don't have an N. Yeah, whether I go with flat alphas or whether I go with thickers. What do you think? These aren't too puffy. GI. And if I stick with these ones, then I will actually pop them in the pockets as well. Thickers. V. Although that looks like a U. I hate these thickers sometimes. GIVI. N. G. Do you see that spells the word giving? I might try and find some other black thickers, some bigger ones maybe. I'll probably go with the thickers, but I'll go with a thicker, a bigger font, I think. Something that's not as cursive, that's not as hard to read. But I will definitely go with a bigger font, if I can find one. I do have these super duper sparkly ones. These ones, but I don't have, I have got another pack somewhere, but I can't put my finger on it at this very moment, but there's no, oh, there is an N. G I V. I much prefer these. I N G. Yeah, I do prefer those ones. Yeah, it did look like a U, didn't it? Yeah, definitely prefer the bigger ones. And you can see it actually says giving now. So what I'm going to do, if you haven't seen the other videos in terms of my little tips about things in clear pockets, is I just use, like this one here, I just use another page protector. I'll cut that into two, so it'll actually make two. And I'll cut it down to 2 by 2. And then I'll stick my letter on, and then I'll poke that in the pocket, so it still looks like it's on the clear, but it will stay in the pocket then rather than stuck to the outside, which is likely then to fall off. So this is pretty much it. So we did day 1, which was the big photo. Obviously having that pre-printed was ideal. Then we have the pocket here to add in the journaling, the hidden journaling for that day, because there wasn't anywhere else that I wanted to add it. Then day 2, we've got the full 6x8 photograph again, just a couple of embellishments, and then we have my little journaling here, cards already done, perfect. Day 3, we had the puff versus short crust, and I'm pleased to say that short crust actually won. And then day 4, we've just got the it's just something as small as just a little screen print of the order from Amazon. I've got an area here that I'll add my journaling onto the back, and then my little 2 by 2 pocket that says giving. So thank you very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure, and if you'd like more live videos, then I'll come back and I will do another live video. I'll put an announcement up on Instagram to let you know. I'll do that. It will probably be some stage at the weekend, so I can catch up the rest of this week as well, or Friday night, or maybe Friday night, maybe. I will let you know in due course. But thank you very much for joining me. It has been an absolute blast, and I'll see you all again very soon in a few more days. Bye!